So nearby Nisha. I say that every time now. Are you ready for some word salad?
For some what?
You know how the term word salad?
Never.
Word salad is when you just you say a bunch of mumbo jumbo that barely makes any sense.
Oh, so that's how I talk daily anyway. So.
Nisha, have you ever heard of chronostasis?
Yes, actually.
For the sake of the video, could you pretend you haven't?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, Brad, what is it?
Yeah, we sort of loosely talked about this, but I'll explain why in the end, because there's a reason. Chronostasis is something that happens with your own eyes. It's not just your eyes, it can happen with other perception, but it's most commonly known to happen with the eyes. Okay, so I'm going to try and explain this as best I can, but I read up on the Wikipedia article just before I came to film, and even I don't really get it. When you quickly dart your eyes from one spot to another, your brain doesn't really read the data in the middle.
Okay.
There's a process in your brain where it's I don't need to read the data as your eyes are moving because it's going to be blurry and we don't need to process that data. So when your eyes stop at another location, what your brain does is use the image you've looked at to backfill the bit that it didn't have. So when you dart your eyes over, you don't see the bit in the middle, you see more of the bit at the end. And what this does is cause something it's a temporal illusion where it looks like the thing that you're looking at is frozen in time for half a second.
Wait, what?
Yeah, this is what. So the best way to explain it, it's to do with a moving clock.
Mm-hmm.
So if you dart your eyes over to a clock that's ticking, you may notice that the second hand seems to tick a bit slower. It moves a little bit slower than it would normally. And this is because your brain is adding an extra half a second into that tick. It's really hard to test this because it's a very specific set of circumstances and it's a phenomenon that we've observed, but it's hard to recreate in a laboratory scientific setting. It's hard to recreate it because if you know you're doing this, it affects the way it works.
That's what, because I've just been studying, looking back and forth,
so
trying to see something.
There's a connection between you being aware that you're going to do something or not. So if you decide you want to check the time, if you do it quickly, you're making the movement before you fully process that you're going to do that. But that affects how long it lasts. Also, if your eyes move further, it lasts longer. And like I said, it isn't just your eyes. So there's another way that you can experiment with this, which is that if you have a ringing phone and you're listening to it with one ear, if you move it back and forward between your ears, the time between the rings is longer because the same thing's happening. The silence is being filled in. So it makes it seem like I know it sounds weird.
Well, you know what I'm going to be doing the rest of this afternoon. I'm just going to be testing everything.
Staring at a clock. It's so complicated, and I'm sorry to people who this doesn't make any sense because I'm not a scientist. I'm also not good at this. This is Carl's thing. But no, I found this out a while back, and I just found it absolutely fascinating that people think of time as this fixed thing. Like, a second is a second, an hour is an hour, a year is a year. But we know through science that because of things like time dilation, the amount of time that we think is a second is what humans perceive as a second. Mm-hmm. And depending on I think if the closer you approach the speed of light, the slower time gets or something these phenomena exist. So the idea that we can effectively see a second into the past and have brains process it, it's really hard to explain.
Yeah.
It's so hard to explain. So I'm going to stop. I think that if you're interested in learning about this, we do have a sources thing in the description. I'll put in the link to the Wikipedia article, and probably I might find a video of someone who explains it better than I do. But I think it's fascinating.
I feel like these sorts of things, when you start talking about it, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And then the more you explain it, the more I'm like, wait, now it doesn't make sense anymore.
The summary of it is that our brains are really good at basically fixing problems that they create. So the problem it creates is that there's missing time because it doesn't want to process a fast movement of the eyes. It doesn't see the point in giving us the information of the move because we're not using that information.
Yeah, it's like a waste of brain energy.
So in order to not do that, what it does instead is it's well, there's a gap here, we'll take it from the bit after the move. So it just fills that little gap. So effectively, you are processing something from the future and you're being told it's from the past. I'm going to stop.
It's just getting...
Let's stop there. Like I said, Look it up yourself. It's fascinating.
It's
But
like
it's-
those videos where you're like, oh, why do we exist? And it just makes you start thinking things like, oh my god, don't go down that route.
I'm sorry. So I mentioned at the start that there was a reason why Nisha already knew about this, and that's because I was ranting about it yesterday. And the reason I was ranting, it's going to seem so petty, but you probably guessed from the title that it's got something to do with Markiplier, right? I'm going to preface this, right? Nisha and I, massive Markiplier fans.
Yep.
Like, we've been watching him since
2012.
2012, yeah. When we subscribed to him, he had less than 10,000 subs.
Years.
It's been so long since we've been watching him. And like on and off, we watch a lot, then we don't watch many, but he's very talented. He does a lot of... So if anyone's coming in to be like, you hate on Mark, no, we love Mark. And Mark, if you're watching this, get in touch. We'll do a video. But anyway, the reason why I was writing about Mark is because I found this idea, this chronostasis thing, ages ago. And I've been saving it for a fact bar. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because I'd never heard of it before. I'd never heard anyone talk about it until I decided when we were doing this new format, I'm going to do a video where I talk about chronostasis. I'm going to film it on Thursday. So today is Thursday. A few days ago, Mark uploads a video, not even like a fact video. Mark uploads a video where he's exploring a Backrooms game, and randomly, in the middle of this video, starts talking about the phenomenon of your eyes backfilling information. He didn't know the name of it, but he started talking about it and going into detail about it, and he knew more than I did.
It's like when we look at something, after moving your eyes real quick, your brain backfills the data in. Backfills data. You don't realize it.
It was so irritating that I was like, yes, I've got this cool thing. And then someone who's going to get millions more views than I am ever going to get started talking about it. And I was...
Oh, that's really funny. Because I had that game on when he published it, but I had it on, fun enough, in the background. It was like background noise. And I tuned in at that moment when he was talking about it. I was like...
Yeah, it's almost like it's an interesting fact that people want to know about.
Yeah.
So I couldn't explain this to Nisha like it was brand new to her because she already heard it from Mark. People know I love Mark's stuff because I've got an Una Sana shirt.
I've got one as well.
There was a video on Fat Fiend, the one we did the movie quotes where I'm wearing it. Oh, and I've also got... wait for it.
Oh, nice.
I also have this.
Oh, that's cool.
The split tee, the Una Sana split tee in pristine condition because I bought it and it's too small for me.
Okay.
But I'm trying to lose weight at the moment, so hopefully at some point you'll be able to see this one in the video.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to say, however, it's a bit weird that I'm showing off someone else's merch in our video, so we should probably plug our merch.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Carl. Nisha's brought one of them with her because she's going to be wearing it when we record. Fat Fiend has a merch store, and some of the designs are Fat Fiend designs, and some are just... I think they're going to be expanding into some of the other ones we have, but this is one of the favourites.
It's the newest one, I think.
Yeah, we've only just put this one on the store. This is Big Fact Energy. Designed by yours truly, based on a suggestion from Carl. So if you want to get this, there'll be a link in the description, and we'll put one in the little card as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
I don't know what else to say.
Outro.
Outro!